Welcome to Google Ads Unleashed, the podcast that helps you harness the power of Google Ads to increase sales for your online business. In an ever-changing Google Ads landscape, we uncover the latest strategies, techniques, and best practices for creating effective ad campaigns that deliver real results. And now your host, Jeremy Young.
Hello guys, and welcome back to Google Ads Unleashed. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking, this is actually more or less like a two-parter, because in this episode, I'm going to be talking about another component which can really help drive better performance for your shopping and PMAX campaigns. And that is not only product title optimization, but product feed optimization. So the title constituent is constitutes a very important part of your feed, of course. But there are many other assets and which you can fill out and which you can optimize in order to drive performance for your Google Shopping and Google PMAX campaigns. So first, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about a little bit about what a product feed is, what the benefits of it are, and what the benefits of optimizations is. Then I'm going to be talking a little bit about a few best practices and strategies and how to most efficiently and easily optimize the feed, and then a few things that you should be doing on a regular basis and a few common mistakes that we see all the time. And hopefully this should then conclude our two-parter on a little deep dive on feeds and product titles. So first of all, what is your product feed? So in a very abstract way, you can think of all of your Google Shopping listings as an Excel sheet, right? Your listing has a lot of components which, of course, together make up your Google Shopping ad. That is the product image. Yeah, this image must be pulled from somewhere. It doesn't just magically appear, of course. Google has this information stored somewhere so that it can display the right product photo with the right product. Then your product has a title, right? This is something that we talked about in the last episode. Your product title is very important to match the right searches to the right titles. Then your product has a description, yeah, so it goes a little, once someone hovers or clicks on the listing, it sort of tells them a little or her a little bit more about the product and what its benefits are, etc. Then you have price, you may have the sale price, you have the actual link to the product, etc. And more or less, whether you may be using an app, like some sort of API or an XML feed or just a standard CSV or Google Sheet, your feed essentially is a bunch of columns that are the different attributes that each of these feeds have. I've just talked about it: price, link to the product page, link to the product image, etc. And each row constitutes a new element or new product, right, of this feed. And this is essentially what every single Google Ads feed looks like. It's basically just a spreadsheet, right? And they are very important along the product title to actually tell Google what your product's all about, right? Because Google doesn't just use the product title or what it is in the product description in order to match the searches to the right product, but it also uses these attributes. So these attributes, for instance, could be: is this product new or used? Is this product, what color does it have? In which product category have you put this product, right? Because Google has a taxonomy of thousands and thousands of different product categories which you can list your product in. So if you are selling mobile phone covers, let's say, then there is actually a specific taxonomy and a specific number in Google's system where you can tell, hey Google, this is a mobile phone cover, right? And this is pretty much existent for every single product out there. And all of these different elements are really, really helpful for Google to actually match the search to the right product as well. So for instance, if someone would be searching for, let's say, trousers, new blue jeans or something like that, right? Then depending on whether the taxonomy says actually, whether it's for an adult or whether it's for a, or for a toddler, or let's say a teenager, or whether it's for man or woman, without this person having actually expressed explicitly in its search that it's, a women's blue jeans or men's blue jeans. And if in the taxonomy it actually says this is for men, then it will show the right product type, right? Again, this improves the ad relevance, it improves click-through rate, and as a result, it lowers your CPCs, you get matched to more searches, a lot of fantastic things happen. Another massive element to why this is really important, it streamlines your campaign management a little bit and your automation. For instance, you might be wanting to set up campaigns in such a fashion that you want to, make a campaign for all products which match a certain product type, or you want to be, you can even add custom labels to your feed where you can say, listen, I just want to run the best sellers, and then out of your 100 products in your feed, you can use a custom label for called bestseller for your top 10 products, and then you can build a shopping campaign that literally just contains products with this custom label. So to actually optimize your feed is really, really important to automate and to improve and streamline your campaign management. So how do you do this, and what are the strategies to do this? So it usually it sort of depends a little bit on how your feed is hosted. So if you use Shopify, for instance, and use the normal Google Sales Channel, then you can actually go into the Google Sales Channel and click, I think it's called a button, so it's quite hidden, something like Manage Products, and then you can actually optimize all of the elements of the feed in there. And then you will actually see what I mean by spreadsheet, because it literally looks like a spreadsheet. So it'll show you, for instance, what condition, and then you can say new or used, for instance, or you can add the color into a field there, or you can add the size or what size system, European size system it is, etc., etc. And what you want to be doing is to not only ensure that the product information is accurate and up to date, but you will want to ensure that you fill out as much as possible and to fill it out as accurately as possible in order to give Google maximum information about your product. Because the more Google knows about your product, the better Google is at actually matching the right searches to the product. And that not only includes product titles and descriptions, but all of the attributes which I mentioned before. For instance, color, age group, size system of the product, what size it is, if it is a wearable, for instance, etc., etc. It even includes a very, very important thing called whether it's a custom product or not. So you will want to be telling Google whether your product is off the shelf or whether it's a custom made product, because you'll want to be adding barcodes as well. Barcodes is playing a very, very essential part, to which I will come actually in the next episode of this podcast, so stay tuned. And they constitute a very, very important part of your feed, so that Google learns, for instance, which products or which reviews on the internet are relevant for the product that you are selling. So there are reviews, as you've probably seen on Google, and you will be able to actually match reviews to your product listings if you submit the right barcodes in the product feed. So some of the best practices that I have for optimizing your feed is, first of all, to do it regularly. I would say look at least once every fortnight, or every time you actually launch new products in your store, that you optimize the product titles and the feed. Make sure that you follow Google's product data specification guidelines. So I would say use as many, first of all, specifications as possible. So just give Google as much information as possible. And the second thing is make sure that you actually use sort of like the correct currencies and the correct ISO codes when you fill it out, because it's very easy to make a mistake there, and it's very easy to screw something up and disapprove products or make them not work. Also, make sure that you use high quality images and that you fill out the product descriptions very nicely. They should be compelling. They should be talking about the pain points of your product solves. And the images should be, like I said, not only high quality, but you may want to also even optimize your image, right? So you could, for instance, look what images people are using for products like yours on Google Shopping, and just swap it out for a different one that looks very different to the rest of them, which makes it stand out and clicked on a lot more. Like I already mentioned, you want to regularly monitor that there's problems as well. So Merchant Center will pipe up if there's something wrong with your product. For instance, it'll say that for certain products, let's say that there's an age group missing, or that the product category is missing, for instance. So you can then just fill that out wherever you fill that out, whether it's manually, whether it's in the feed, that app that you use, or whether you use some other tool. And something I would recommend as well, depending if you have, I'd say from about 100 products or more, is you will want to maybe look into a feed optimization tool, which can help, or a feed management tool. So something like Data Feed Watch or Channable, or there's loads out there which you can use, with which you can actually use rules to fill out your to fill out certain things. So for instance, if something contains in the product title women or men, then you can automatically update the gender of the product, right? Or basically for what whether it's a men's or women's product, or whether it's unisex, of course, as well. You can also use feed automation tools to solve complex problems, for instance, descriptions or something like that, to standardize descriptions throughout all of your product range. So there's a lot that you can do, but what's really important is that you just regularly make sure that it's all complete and consistent, and that if anything is missing, that you fill it out as much as possible. And it's really important to not let it slide or ignore any feed errors and warnings, because basically if products get disapproved and don't run anymore, they will only be live for another 30 days before they'll be deleted from the feed completely, or from Merchant Center rather. So you'll have to take action once something doesn't work anymore, or if something's not up to date. So in summary, this has probably been quite a short episode, because I wanted to talk a little bit more about product title optimization in the previous episode. I'd say it's about an 80-20 effort. 80% of the optimization you can do with your listings is the product title. It is undoubtedly the absolute most important part of doing of making improvements to your feed. But of course, all the other assets are super, super important, and try to fill out as many as you can to feed Google with as much info about your product as possible, because you will be surprised what a difference it makes. One of my employees actually for a very long time worked at a company called Shoptimized, which specifically deals with, this is not an endorsement by the way, but they specifically deal with just optimizing large feeds and using rules to optimize titles and feeds as best as possible. And it is unbelievable some of the result differences they got before and after optimizing feeds and making sure that Google reads the data out nicely. So it can make a huge difference to your ads performance as well. So it's just something that you really need to stay on top on. And again, I'd say use just, common sense. You don't have to be too creative or too crazy with it. Just fill it out as best as you can, and you should see better performance then. And I'm going to stick with feeds in the next episode. I'm going to talk about something which I've teased before, which is, the barcodes and why they're important. And there is a very, very specific way you can actually get reviews on your ads as well, which can massively boost your performance. And you will learn how this works in the next episode. If you have any questions about feed optimization, or whether you need a little bit of help, simply reach out or join our Facebook group as well, and you will be able to speak to me, and maybe we can sort of help you get your feed in order. On that note, thank you very much for listening, and speak soon.
Thank you for listening to Google Ads Unleashed. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's podcast, please share it with others and leave a rating and a review. For more information or to connect with Jeremy, check him out online at www.younganddigital.marketing. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.